Full Gear is this Saturday night live from the Target Center in Minneapolis. It does not look like it will be streaming on Fight TV here in the U.S. That was an option for All Out. I thought it was great. I would much rather stream the show on Fight. Only international viewers will be able to do so, though. The rest of us can get it on Bleacher Report or on traditional pay-per-view. Let's run through some early predictions. We still have a Dynamite and a Rampage left to go before the show, but this is the last sound-off before the pay-per-views, so I didn't want to wait any longer, so let's get into this here. There has been nothing announced yet for Cody Rhodes, for Malachi Black, Andrade, or Pac. I expect that either a four-way or a tag team match will be added to the show this week. We've got the Young Bucks and Adam Cole, the Super Click, taking on Jurassic Express. That's Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and Christian Cage. I'm going to go with the Bucks and Adam Cole for the win. And perhaps coming out of this, we'll be able to get a singles match on TV between Adam Cole and Christian Cage. CM Punk, one-on-one against Eddie Kingston. If you did not see Rampage on Friday, do yourself a favor and watch the segment with Punk and Kingston to set up this match here for the pay-per-view. Those two guys went out there and they had a hell of a segment on a very short notice, trying to build up a match on pay-per-view. They went out there and I think they talked a lot of people who maybe were on the fence into ordering this pay-per-view just to see Punk against Kingston. And perhaps this won't be the only match these two have. Maybe this is the first of two. Maybe they'll have a rematch on TV at some point, but even if there is a second match, I don't see the outcome here being any different than what probably all of you expect. Eddie Kingston is in need of a big win. I hope he gets it at some point, but it won't be here. CM Punk is going to pick up the victory, but this is the first time since Punk came to AEW back in August. It feels like he's got a real feud. And again, it was only just manufactured in the last week or so on promos. Nothing physical outside of the pull-apart they finally had at the end of their segment on Friday. But even before the pull-apart, the way it went out there, and they, I think, talked a lot of people into being excited for a match that maybe otherwise they wouldn't have been excited for. But I think CM Punk is going to pick up the win. Hopefully not the only time we see these two in the ring, but it's a huge platform for Eddie Kingston. The biggest match he's going to have in his AEW career so far. We've got the Lucha Bros defending their, their AEW tag team titles against the AAA tag team champions, FTR, but only the AEW tag team titles, I believe, are on the line. I think it's going to be a very good match between two of the best teams they have on their roster. I think the Lucha Bros are absolutely not losing their titles back to FTR, who did hold them once before. But I don't see them dropping them here. I think we'll just get a great professional wrestling match between two of the best teams in the world right now. But the Lucha Bros are going to retain their belts. Darby Allin one-on-one against MJF. Two men who both lost at the last pay-per-view. Darby lost to Punk. MJF lost to Jericho. So one of them this time will walk out with the win. This could very easily go either way. This actually is one of the tougher matches, I think, on this card to predict. I'm predicting an MJF win, especially because I think you want to start to set him up for a championship match at some point, maybe early next year. But I think Darby Allin could also very easily walk away with the win if they have a mishap between MJF and Wardlow. They've been doing the slow burn to an eventual Wardlow split with MJF. Maybe that next development happens here at the pay-per-view and it costs MJF the win. Doesn't really hurt MJF at all if that happens. Gives Darby a nice rebound win coming off the loss to CM Punk. But I feel like MJF is going over here. He would be the one I would put over in this match. I think he'll walk away with the victory. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, defends her AEW Women's Championship against Ty Conti, who used to be in NXT and, surprise, surprise, was very frustrated because they wouldn't find anything for her to do. Usually that's something you run into on the main roster, but she had that issue in NXT. And she left and ended up in AEW and has improved a lot since we saw her in NXT. She is the perfect person to put in the ring with Britt Baker as an interim opponent. She is not going to win the championship, but she is the perfect person to go in there and I think give her a competitive match what should be a good match, but Britt Baker is not losing this title. I have said it before, I will say it again, as much of a broken record as I may sound like, Britt Baker should not be dropping this title until she gets back in the ring with Thunder Rosa. They have not gotten back to Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa since Baker won that belt. You cannot take the championship off of her until you get back to that feud. We have a Minneapolis street fight, the Inner Circle. Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Jake Hager, Santana, and Ortiz taking on the Men of the Year, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, along with American Top Team members Junior Dos Santos, Andrei Arlovsky, and Dan Lambert. This will be, I think, Arlovsky's first match, Dos Santos' second match, and the first time we're seeing Dan Lambert wrestle. I think he's probably in there to take the losing fall, because I have the Inner Circle winning this thing. And that's my guess, is that it'll be the old fat-faced dipshit, Dan Lambert, taking the L for his team. Bryan Danielson one-on-one against Miro in the finals of the World Title Eliminator. I was looking forward to Moxley and Danielson, but I'm also looking forward to this, because Miro has been on fire since he dropped all the video game kind of goofball comedy stuff. And the way they booked him as TNT champion, the way that they've done these vignettes where he's sort of questioning God and almost threatening God in these promos, why have you forsaken me? All of a sudden now, with the Moxley situation, it's like, well, he lost the TNT title, one door closes and another one opens. I think he and Danielson are going to have a hell of a match. Their first time in the ring together in 3 years. They had a King of the Ring qualifying match on SmackDown that Miro won clean over him. Believe that might have been their only singles match. So I think it's going to be a very good match. I'm going with Miro, and I might be going against the grain here. I don't know. I would think Danielson would be the favorite. I'm going with Miro, and I'm going with Miro largely because of what I think is going to happen in the main event. The main event being Hangman Adam Page challenging Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship. It was 1 year ago at Full Gear. These two got in the ring together as friends. Omega won in the finals of the World Title Eliminator and ended up winning the championship on TV a few weeks later from Jon Moxley. That was the Winter is Coming show. So here we are 1 year later. It has brought these two men back together, although under very different circumstances. Omega's the heel. He is the world champion, defending now against Hangman. I have been waiting very patiently for this Hangman story to play out, and now the time has finally arrived. The only outcome here that I want to see is Hangman Adam Page beating Kenny Omega to become the new AEW World Champion. The guy is over. He is very popular. The fans want to see it. They've been waiting patiently for it. I would hate for this to be one of those times where you wait just a little too long and you cool the guy off just a little bit. You know, not unlike what they did with Naito in New Japan a few years ago, where I think a lot of people felt like they waited just a little too long, Gedo did, to put that championship on him. But I think they're going to do the right thing here. I think Hangman is going over. I think he's going to win. And if he is going to win, and only if he is going to win, I think he's going to kick out of the One-Winged Angel. They've done a very good job of teasing it out, not having anybody else in the company kick out of that move. If this is Hangman's night and they're putting him over and he's winning the championship, then Omega should hit the One-Winged Angel and Hangman should be the first man in AEW to kick out of it. So if Hangman wins the title, this is why I like Miro winning in the Eliminator, because it gives Hangman a strong heel to wrestle and to beat in his first title defense. Or maybe they get a couple of matches out of it. But I think Miro wins, Hangman wins the title, and he's got his first challenger already set up. So that's your Full Gear card as it currently stands. Very strong card on paper. On paper, it's even stronger, I think, than All Out. But I think we'll have one or two matches, including whatever Cody is going to be doing, added to the show this week.